It's going to be that time of year where, even though it's snowing outside, I want to get some plants going here. Tomato plants, pepper plants, beans, you name it. And I really love simplicity. I like doing this thing I'm going to show you now. I usually do it with a wine bottle. I have a way I can cut a wine bottle and I can invert it, and it's a nice glass planter. It's beautiful, but practicality, you don't need a bottle. Any container will work. And I'm going to show you what you can do with a milk carton, in fact. So what I have here is a small milk carton. It's expired, it's empty, and I already did this process, but I started with making a little cut, and I'm going to remove the top like so. I want it to be about halfway. Now, you can leave some of these processes out. You don't have to necessarily do what I'm going to do. You could just sit it right inside there. You can put a piece of felt in there. You can do whatever you want, actually. But I'm not going to do that. This is what you're going to do. You're going to have a planter. It's basically going to be your ground and your seeds that you're going to plant and you're going to water. But what you're going to have also is, I'm going to put holes in this, where you will have a water chamber underneath that you can have some drainage, okay? Because that's very important. Plus, it gives the humidity underneath if you're using a rooting medium for seedlings. Another benefit you can use of that is you can put some of your rooting compound in there that you're going to be using to start cuttings if you were going to use it for cuttings. An aspirin is what you would use as well for cuttings, but the benefit of using it in here is it's a antifungal. So you can put your antifungal in the bottom here when you water, and it's going to keep the antifungal property really well. So you won't have the plants dying when they get to about that high. Fungus usually does that. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I have this little hand drill. This belonged to Tom Creed. I have this. I have all kinds of little fun gadgets in here. Automatic punch. These are always fun. These are for machinists, but any kind of drill will do. You can take a regular drill bit and you can drill with a hand drill. What I like about these is I can set these on something like, say, where I want to drill a hole and just drill right into that. It keeps these are made to line up the bit. If you see what I'm doing here, it lines it right up. So I'm going to do it on this, and I'm going to drill the holes in the bottom. So I'm kind of left with something like this. Purpose being that it'll have drainage, but the soil's not going to come through it. And it will clog, okay? The ground will clog it. It's not going to pour out of here like a sieve. So when you water it, be aware of that, because it's going to just slowly feed and slowly drip. And then if it needs moisture, it's going to slowly go up through it. That's the important part of that. You want it to be smaller holes that your planting medium will not go through it. Next, and this is pretty important, I'm going to take the punch. I'm going to push on these and just make them inverted, because that will help with drainage and also makes the holes bigger. To help with drainage, you don't want to go real deep with this, of the medium, okay? So even if it does clog it, it's not going to clog it where the plastic that I punched it with will fill that back in. This is very much like an osmosis type of watering system. You know, you pay a lot of money for some of these planters that do the same thing. This is a great hobby if you have a kid. You want to get your kids involved in starting your garden. Or if you're like me and you have to depend on it for food, it works just as efficiently. So what I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drill a hole. I'm going to sit this in here, and I want it to sit right about there. So I'm going to drill a hole right here that goes the whole way through. Now what I'm going to do is put a wire tie through that. Okay, just one maybe 2 on the other side. I'm not too certain how I'm going to do this yet, but I'm going to put a small wire tie through so that I can keep it to wherever I want, so I can have it above. I want about an inch to a half an inch of space on the bottom of this. So I drilled one of the holes, and I want to show you this, a very important part of this. Because you're going to have a place where it goes in and a place goes out. You want to take something once you drill through to hold your spot. And I'm going to leave that punch in there because then when I drill on this side, right here, both holes will line up. Otherwise, if you don't, you drill the one and you guess where it's at, it's not going to work. So I've got the general process done. Okay, I always put the part I cut off on the inside so it makes it look cleaner. And I've got a little, like, snap or a little, what do you want to call it, tie on it. You can also, if you don't want to use this, you can use a wire tie like you would use on your bread and get that to attach. What I'm doing is I'm getting that up a little bit, and I'm also making it into a solid thing. So it drains, you know, and has drainage, proper drainage. If I do want to pour excess out, I can always tilt it. There is air that will get in here in this gap, and it gives me enough room that I could put several plants in here. Another benefit of this design is, if you see right here, there's a hole right there. I can very easily put my planting medium right up to this level here and water only right there if I want to. So I'm not getting water on top of the ground. I'm just getting into the roots. The old timers knew this stuff, and I want to tell you something. People say to me, why do you still do this kind of thing? Why do you still showing people how to make this very what should we call it? Bushcraft? Planter. This is how the old people did it in the Great Depression and things like that. They didn't have plastic, they used glass. But I learned a lot from the people then of what making the best of what they have works. And I think it's beautiful. They made the most of their little things like this. And I miss seeing things like that. So I always like doing it, the innovativeness of using what you have available you would normally throw away. And hopefully having some tomato plants and pepper plants and whatever else you decide to grow for the summer months.